All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Monday, December 11th. Hope you're doing amazingly well. We're getting started here, episode 1118. My name's Sean Murphy. I'll be your host for the next little bit. This conversation this morning is about the mind of change. A lot of times we say change our mind. If we understand what mind is, mind's the version of us that was. Really, your mind is the archive of everything you've ever had. Now, your brain and your ability to think and visualize and do all of that, your mind is still the archive of everything you've ever done. And so when we say change your mind, that means change your past, change who you are, change this idea, this thought, this concept, this vision, this personality. Well, since we're told all the time that we need to be not selfish, we need to be a part of things, we need a part of things that are going on, it's hard for us to think of ourselves all by ourselves. And therefore, it's hard for us to meditate. A lot of us, it's hard to meditate because we say, well, my mind gets so busy. What gets so busy? My mind gets so busy. I can't stop my thoughts. Well, you have to change your mind. Well, I can't do that. That's easier said than done. Totally understand. So how do we become a mind of change instead of changing our mind? Well, we have to think about it. We have to become available to it. We have to think about what it is we're doing. The reality is that most people are operating in a pattern that lets other people feel safe. Right? I mean, I understand Maslow's law, safety and security is number one on the list. What I'm talking about is safe with their ideas, safe with their dreams. How many of you know people? I do my best to not pick on you. How many of you know people that when they are doing what they're doing, that if you would feel comfortable telling everybody all of your dreams? Most people aren't going to go do that. Most people aren't going to tell everybody their dreams because they're not comfortable with them. Because this vision that you have of this new potential, this new opportunity doesn't fit into their mind of you. How many minds do you have? Well, Sean, I only have one. I might disagree with that. You have a mind of when you were a child. You have a mind of trauma. You have a mind of your best friend. You have a mind of your worst enemy. You have all of these things, these versions of it. And the reason that I know they're versions of it, because sometimes things change. So if you're starting today and you're saying, well, today I'm going to work, right? January 1's coming around. Revolution is coming around. I'm not even sure what people call it. A resolution, right? They resolve themselves to it. What if you changed your mind about a resolution, right? Instead of making these, I'm going to make these New Year's resolutions. I'm going to resolve myself to doing this. What if you expanded and you created a revolt? You revolted against the old, right? Wouldn't that be a little bit different? Some of you are saying, that seems like a little much. Isn't that challenging? Isn't that challenging your mind? Isn't that challenging the way you look at things, the way you see things? Aren't your dreams going to challenge the minds of those around you? This is why in the profession that I'm in, mentors leading mentors, MLM, that's what it's called. Mentors leading mentors, making lasting money, me loving more. That's what MLM stands for me. When you go into the business, what's the first thing they tell you is don't talk to your friends and family right away because you'll get shot down. Why? Because you've changed your mind, and your new mind is like a sapling, like a seedling. It's very tender. And what happens is everybody wants to ask you, why did you do that? Well, where's the why of a seedling? It's the roots. So what do? They take and they pull that new little brand new sapling out of the thing, and it's got that one root on it. And you say, see, look how big the root is. Look how I'm getting started. And because you've pulled it out of the ground, it's almost impossible to get it back in. And it usually withers, fades, and dies. So how do you become a mind of change instead of having to change your mind? Well, it's called Your Definite Major Purpose, Napoleon Hill's books, Think and Grow Rich, Wallace D. Wattles' book, Science of Getting Rich, right? The Bible, it's all in there. Myron Goldman talks about the how he used the Bible to build his wealth. Solomon was the richest man ever, right? It's about building content. The challenge is that it's hard for us to change our mind if we have no evidence. Well, can I let you in on a little secret? Come here. Let me let you in on a little. You have evidence. It's just that there's a principle that as soon as we have completed something, we have a tendency to wipe it from our memory, not completely, but the joy of the accomplishment, the joy, the fulfillment of achievement. We wipe that clean because we have so many other things on our plate. How many of you have used drop a P in the chat if you've ever heard or you've used? I got so many things on my plate. How big is your plate? Jim Rohn said, listen, in network marketing, he talked about, listen, you can't carry everyone. You might be able to carry 1, 2 if you're Wilt Chamberlain, but you can't carry 3. How many of us are carrying 3 or 4 or a dozen of ideas, heavier ideas than people, heavier in concepts than the weight of your truck, your car? Well, if we mind our change, we can change our mind. We are required to revisit our mind. And the challenge is that when we look for evidence, we can't find any. Till when? Till we slow down, pause, and we start to activate the neural patterns of our past success. We begin to look at them and go, oh, okay. And we think that when we write down the things that would remind us, repassed ourselves into this idea that we're good. We don't think of all of the things that are good. We have to think of Nobel Peace Prize. When did people build a statue to us? 25 degrees here on the ranch this morning, a little dry in the air, and I don't have any water here with me. Note to self, change my mind on that. So all of a sudden, we have this new idea and this new mind and this new ability. And the challenge is we've not been given approval by others to change our mind. When we would get in trouble, or if you grew up in an area where your neighbors, your best friend's parents could discipline you, give you suggestions, lay down the rules, kind of get stern with you. Not saying they could spank you. Maybe. Different time in life. But they would say, what? Mind yourself. Make sure you mind yourself when you go in here. Right? If you're ever going with your friend's parents to the store, or to the park, or to the amusement parks. Yeah, we used to go in horse and carriage, right? And spin the metal wheel. Makes myself sound so old. Older. It'd say, mind yourself. Why would they say mind yourself? Remember who you are yourself. So now all of a sudden you get into this powerful profession of making lasting memories. And you're told to dream. And those who aren't told to dream get shot down, shoot you down, take shots at you. Some of you know automatically what they're going to say. So how do we shift that? We have to go get our evidence. What's the evidence of some of the things you've done well? Well, did you graduate first grade? Well, yeah, but that was first grade. That was a bit, listen, every fourth grader is a hero to a third grader. Think about that for a second. Every fourth grader is a hero to a third grader. You were in fourth grade. You were a hero to first and second grade. Oh my God, they're fourth grader, right? I went to a school where there was first grade through fourth grade, and then it shifted. It was a little odd. But when you were a fourth grader, you were the upperclassman. Now that doesn't sound like much, but when you were in fourth grade and you were the upperclassman, you were the upperclassman. You were like the head of the honchos. And then you went to fifth grade and you started all over again. New school, new place, new location. So what rank do you have when you start off in this new idea of you building your dreams, you having a vision, you wanting more of your life? What happens? What changes? What's the shift? Well, you have to change the way you see yourself. Wallace D. Waddle said, change the way, what Wayne Dyer said, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. Wallace D. Waddle says, it's not about doing certain things, it's about doing things in a certain way. All of this to say that when you become a mind of change instead of changing your mind, you can't change the past. But you can upgrade your mind so that you have the change you desire in the future. Does this make sense? I'm going to be doing a series on why we are so good at failure. Wait, what? Probably most people won't attend it. Why? Because it's the reality. Think about your life. You have put so much energy into failing. You really have. When you sit down and allow that to just sort of seep in, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just when you realize how much energy you have available to you to put into success versus failure, we are designed and wired to fail. We are designed and wired to avoid failure. And the best way to avoid failure is to stay stuck. We call this thing a comfort zone. So I'm going to offer you the chance to become a mind of change instead of having to change your mind. And that's going to be the kind of the focal point of 2024 for me. It's going to be a year of mind of change. We'll see. I'll spend a year doing it. We'll see how it works out. I'd love for you to join me if you go to, those of you on Instagram or YouTube, if you go to unlearnme.live, you can set up your free account. You can join me in the Zoom area, and we can have a dialogue and a conversation where I'm about to go now and have some Q&A, live Q&A with my community, and talk about what would it mean for you to have a mind of change instead of having to change your mind. I love you tons. I appreciate you. I'm your head brain training, 5-time #1 best-selling author, Misfit. I'll see y'all where? I'll see you at the next Mind of Change event. Till then, thanks, everybody. Bye for now. And YouTube, love you tons. Hope you have an amazing, fun-filled, fact-filled day. Facts that you are pretty amazing.